So what I try to do every year, as you know, is go through and just kind of tell you some numbers. A lot of you know the story of the Downeaster. You know a lot of this stuff already, but I try to put a little bit of a different spin on it and see as we go through if you can guess what some of these numbers mean. Fiscal year 2019 and calendar year 2019 were great for the Downeaster. We had a lot of accomplishments. So we're going to give you a little snapshot of kind of what we did, talk a little bit about what we want to do, and then go from there. So we'll get started with Bill. So last year, for fiscal year 19, the Downeaster transported 547,293 passengers, the equivalent of over 44 million passenger miles, and generated $10.28 million in ticket revenue. Among our riders were about 26,000 people who took advantage of our 50% senior discount. We transported about 136,322 passengers who traveled on a multi-ride pass, and those folks generated about $1.8 million in revenue. We transported, in addition, about 17,780 kids and 1,418 military personnel. We transported nearly 4,600 passengers who traveled, who have a disability. And 733 passengers traveled using our cancer care fare going to medical appointments, which we've actually expanded for next year going forward. About 11,242 traveled with a group, 2,600 part of a package. We had about 150 pets on board our train, as well as 395 bikes. In fiscal year 2019, we had 6 record-breaking months, and that was our ridership was 87% higher than it was in 2006. And you think that's impressive? We broke our revenue in 9 out of 12 months, and that's an increase of 136% over 2006 in revenue. Our team participated in over 150 trade shows. We gave away over 331 tickets to nonprofits and fundraising. And there were over 18,000 hours of volunteers on the train and at our stations to support the Downeaster and its passengers. In the cafe, thanks to our food service provider Nextdine, generated a record $876,463 in food revenue. That's an average of about $1.60 per passenger, and we actually had a cost recovery overall for the year of 87%. Among the items sold, and you guessed it, 7,100 hot dogs, 28,000 bottles of water, and oh yes, 38,675 bottles or cans of beer. Our customer on-time performance was pretty good at 87%, and our overall satisfaction was at 90%. We also really focused on trying to make the customer experience better for folks by making it easier for people to transfer from the Downeaster to other modes of transportation. So as part of that, we gave out 407 tickets for passengers or travelers coming into Portland who transferred and took the metro downtown. We sold more than 7,000 Charlie cards on board the train in the cafe, and we distributed more than 14,400 direction cards, cards that tell people when they get to Boston or Portland, give them step-by-step directions of how to get to their next best attraction. We did a lot of construction projects this year. We repaired over about 5 grade crossings. There are about 50 miles of brush cutting that happened along the right-of-way. We replaced 15,000 ties. And a couple projects wrapping up. We're just in the process of completing 4 miles of double track at Royal Siding, which enables us to reliably operate 5 round trips a day. So we have a couple things that we're working on. After 18 years of a great partnership and a great station location at Thompson's Point, we're in a station building that sees over 1 million passengers a year. We've decided that it's time to look at ways to try to save 15 minutes of travel time for the more than 150,000 passengers who travel to or from Freeport and Brunswick on the train every year. So we're looking at some alternatives for that. We've also submitted a Chrissy grant application for what we call the Wells Siding Project, which will add 6 miles of double track and a second passenger platform at the Wells station, and that will hopefully help us initiate a 6th round trip between Brunswick and Wells. In the very preliminary discussions of potentially adding a 7th main stop at exit 53 in West Falmouth, which will help provide better access for passengers who are traveling or trying to get to the Downeaster from 95. We provide really good access from 295, but this will help us get it from I-95. And we're looking at, again, this year, really trying hard to move forward and establish weekend seasonal service, Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, running about 3 round trips a day on Friday, Saturday, Sunday on the 54 miles up to the Rockland branch. And we hope that this will be especially important this year to help us showcase Maine's 200th birthday. So we actually went with Amtrak earlier this year, and we did a geometry car run up on the Rockland branch, and Amtrak was gracious enough to bring along a business car. So the team went along, and we hired a videographer. We wanted to share with you, for those, many of you have probably taken that trip before, but just to share with you for a few moments, really the amazing asset that we have in the Rockland branch and what it could potentially be.
There is no more beautiful route than the route from Brunswick to Rockland. It's fun and it's scenic over water and wetlands. It's spectacularly beautiful.
It's majestic. There are birds flying around, and there's a forest, and then there's water, and it's like a nature show, but you're just sitting down and you're having a cup of coffee.
Having Rockland be a part of a national transportation network would be such an opportunity.
It's an opportunity to bring visitors to our downtown without cars. It's an opportunity for the people of Rockland to travel south in a really fun and convenient, scenic way.
Though we love it here in the Mid-Coast, we do sometimes feel somewhat cut off. People coming up to Rockland, they prefer to stay on the interstate and unfortunately bypass the town itself because of all of the traffic issues.
I think that having service to Rockland is really exciting. Brunswick has a lot to offer. We've got a very vibrant downtown, a lot of things happening there. So anything that brings more people through the community, I think is going to be a good thing for Brunswick.
For Bath in particular, our train station is walkable to downtown, and it's right by the tours that Maine Maritime Museum does. It would give folks a lot to do, so having the ability to get to Bath as a different mode of transportation would work wonders for the city.
Seasonal service to Rockland would allow so many more people access to the Mid-Coast, which would be a tremendous benefit to all of our businesses, as well as for people who just want a nice weekend.
Rockland's got a lot to offer as a destination community. Hotels and world-class restaurants and shopping, galleries, museums.
The festivals are directly across the street from the train station. You're talking about thousands of people who really would love the opportunity to not have to drive, not have to park.
Having a greater expanded rail service would be great for both our residents and for more people to come explore Bath.
It's an opportunity both for visitors and for Rockland residents.
What do you think? Pretty cool, huh? So we're still working out the details, but if it's possible to make it happen, we intend to do so. And all of that we accomplished, never losing sight of the most important thing, which is safety. No major incidents associated with passengers or with crews. So we thank all of our operating partners for that. And speaking of our operating partners, again, we can't say that this is a team effort. It doesn't happen unless every one of our partners is 100% committed every day. It takes a lot to make this service happen and to keep it rolling. We also really appreciate the support of our funding partners, the Maine Department of Transportation, the Federal Transit Administration, and the Federal Railroad Administration. But all that said, we never lose sight of the fact that this train is here because people wanted it. It was in response to the public initiative started by Train Riders Northeast, you folks that are here continuing to beat the drum, make things happen, push us to be better, push others to help us be better. And keep us focused on what really the most important thing. This isn't about trains, this isn't about the railroad, this is about the passengers, this is about people, it's about moving people. And it starts from you and your continued interest and effort and commitment to the service, to the state of Maine and New Hampshire and Massachusetts is really what has truly made this project unique and special and recognized that way for all around the country. So congratulations to Train Riders. Thank you all so much for all you do, and we'll see you back at 19.